Hello. Thank goodness Facebook is back. I couldn't believe it yesterday when I tried to do the video that it just was not working properly. I'm sure everybody else kind of felt that way yesterday. Definitely some major frustrations, but we are back and welcome to my home. I'm shooting from home today. And we are going to talk about some really great stuff today. We have a brand new trio this week called the Extreme Metallics Trio, which is being featured in a design on Beads, Baubles, and Jewels, which should be playing locally in some of your areas on your local public television station. We're going to talk about our Purple Rain Trio, which just came out 2 weeks ago. And we're going to do a little bit more jewelry designing with the Purple Rain Bead Mix. But I must warn you, there are only 7 of these left, I think the last time I looked. So not many of these left, but I'm going to open it up and we'll play around with that. And then we've got a great sale this week on our Econoflex. So the new trios are 10% off, the 2 new trios I just showed you. And then we've got our Pro Econoflex, which comes in gold and steel gray. Let me see where the gold is. So I'm going to take that out so you can look at it a little bit more closely, ask any questions that you might have. These are 20% off this week at our on our website. And then we've also got our regular Econoflex on sale, 20% off, and even the closeouts. So there's a bunch of colors on closeout, and I'll go over what colors they are. And those are 30% off already on closeout, and we're giving you an additional 20%. So it's a great week to stock up on your craft wire. Yeah, so lots of really cool stuff to look at. I have some designs I'm going to show you, and then we'll probably make something cute and little too before I go. So I'm going to flip you down so we can just go for it. Hopefully you're all feeling good today. It's bright and sunny here in California, and definitely a really nice, enjoyable day. My family's at the park right now. I'm gonna move this chair out of my way. Okay, so let's kick off by talking about these new trios, because I think they're pretty fantastic. So we've got 2 options. Either option is 10% off this week on our website, which is www.softflexcompany.com. And both of them contain our 24 karat gold Softflex Extreme. So in this particular wire, there are 19 strands of copper alloy. And this is actually the champagne color is what that copper alloy looks like naturally. You find the top there. So this particular wire underneath is actually the initial color, but all 19 strands of that wire are plated in real 24 karat gold, drawn down, and then it is braided and then coated in a clear nylon coating. So the champagne is that copper alloy wire braided and then a clear nylon coating over the top of it with no plating. So this brand new trio is the trio that Nile used in episode 2709. I think his design was called Branching Out. And it's absolutely gorgeous. Somebody will post a link to the blog about it, which will have instructions for the design and also a link to the video of him on Beads, Baubles, and Jewels. But we all know Nile has a fantastic eye for color. And I had not ever used these particular 3 colors together. And when I saw it in his design when we were filming, I was just totally blown away. So we decided to make it in a trio this week because this is the week that it should start playing in a lot of locations if you get Beads, Baubles, and Jewels locally. But like I said, you can always watch it on our YouTube channel too. We have loaded it up there as well to make it easy for you to find. But at any rate, this is a brand new trio on the website, and it's 10% off just this week as an introductory price. And then since we were doing this one at a discount, we decided we might as well throw in this new Purple Rain, which is also really gorgeous. It's got the 24 karat gold that I just talked about, but then it pairs it with purple and black. So you've got some other fun options. So I'm going to pull out a few designs that are using these wires so we can kind of take a look. Why don't we leave this up here if they don't roll everywhere. And I think we're going to let's look at that 24 karat gold first, because that is such a fun color. So this is a bracelet that I made using a Kumihimo disc. And I believe it was in one of the Beading magazines, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But I used the 24 karat gold wire, and then you can also see there's like a thread or a cord that I mixed in to just give it a little bit more of a glittery effect. But I did a long Kumihimo braid, and then this is actually the center of the braid, and I just loosely knotted it back and forth to make this really fun kind of springy bracelet. It'll spring, but it's really pretty in the gold. Isn't that lovely? So I've also got these bracelets. Jamie Hogsett made these years ago, and I've held on to them for so long using our 24 karat gold. I believe this is a thinner diameter. I probably would prefer it in a medium, which is just a little bit thicker and a little bit more durable for a design like this, but still really pretty. And she just added some little Swarovski beads. And then to end it, where is her ending? There it is. She took a 3x3 millimeter crimp tube with the mighty crimpers, crimped it, and then she did a big 4 millimeter gold-filled crimp cover over the top of it. And I believe this is the same. Yeah, she did her beads over here, but she actually ended it over here. And then these are just bangles that will slide over your hand onto your wrist. But it's a great way to show that really beautiful 24 karat gold color. I have one other great design. This one's actually from Seed Bead Revolution, which is the book that I wrote last year with Kristen Fagan. It's available from Sofix Company as well, or you can get it on Amazon. And it also has the 24 karat gold wire working through these beads, but I wanted to show this one just to show what it looks like when you've got a clear crystal on top of that 24 karat. How beautiful is that? It makes it really sparkle. Here's the bottom here. Fun. Here is one that Jamie made as well. Jamie Hogsett, and this would be so pretty, I think, with either of the trios, but I think especially if you're going to do a mixed metal piece, doing the copper instead of the silver would really make this a lot of fun. So this project hasn't been loaded on our website yet, but I'm going to see if we can get it loaded here pretty soon. I might do some braiding today. I might just do some braiding today because I think it's such a fun, beautiful technique with these metallic colors. And here's a gold and brass done on a knitting spool. So when you mix in like the gold with the copper or the gold with the champagne, it kind of just gives it a little less of a shimmer. It's not quite so in your face gold. Which can be really fun and nice sometimes. And then, of course, this is finished off with some beautiful Saki silver pieces in the center. So those are all of the golds. I do have a couple of fun copper designs. So you can see what the copper looks like on its own. This was a design in Beadwork magazine. I don't know how many of you guys heard that the company that owns Beadwork filed bankruptcy this week. We're all pretty sad about it, but that's just the way of the world. Everybody's online now, and you got to kind of keep up with what's going on online. This was done on a Mirix loom, and the Softflex wires are the, what are those, the weft or the warp? I can't remember the difference. And then I did do thread to go through the seed beads. There's a possibility you could do the very fine 010. I just at the time didn't try it. And one other cute copper design. This was one from one of the design challenges. So I used a copper chain and some copper head pins at the bottom, and then I just ran some beautiful copper wire up the back and attached to a clasp using our Softflex crimp tubes and a really nice little copper clasp. Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen. I think they're business as usual for right now. And then once they've sold different parts of their company, I think by June, they're supposed to kind of have it worked out what's gonna happen. So we'll have to kind of wait and see. And here is a purple. So if you're looking at that Purple Rain trio, then here's an option to kind of think about what purple might look like. This is a macrame bracelet, and it uses both the purple and then it actually has yellow running underneath it. I love purple and yellow together. So you can buy a trio and use all three colors together like Nile did in his project for Beads, Baubles, and Jewels. Or you can buy a trio and use all the colors individually, or a mixture of both. So that's kind of the fun of trios, is we try to put colors together that you could definitely use all at the same time in one design, or you could definitely break it up and use them individually too. These are 10-foot spools. If you've never seen a trio, 30 feet total, and 10% off right now on the website. And I believe that ends on 3/19 next week. That's the deadline. If you want to enter to win a trio of your choice, make sure you share and like this video by 3/19 as well. Okay, so we got through that. Let's talk a little bit about our Econoflex, and then we'll jump into a project using the Purple Rain bead mix and the Purple Rain trio. So here's our Econoflex. We've got two different kinds here. We've got our basic Econoflex. It comes in 3 different diameters, the 0.010, which is really very fine, the 014 fine, and then the 019 medium. This particular product isn't really all that much for jewelry making. We call it an economy flex wire. For craft, it says craft and beading wire, but we really consider it a good choice for a craft project. So if you were looking at making like a beaded curtain, a beaded lampshade, a garland for Christmas, where you need a lot of wire and need it to be affordable but not necessarily flexible, then Econoflex is going to be a great fit for you. So we've got a bunch of colors in very fine right now that are 30% off if you go to our closeout section, and the 20% off is going to apply on top of that. So it's going to give you an additional discount. You're going to be looking at about roughly 50% off on those products just for this next week. Normally it would just be 30%. So you can take advantage of that. It comes in lots of different colors still in closeout: autumn brown, cinnamon red, plum, spring green, and steel blue. We also have our basic Econoflex fine and medium, which you'll be able to find in our regular beading wire section on our website, and that will be 20% off of your purchase this coming week. So Pro Econoflex is really interesting because it's the first time we've been able to make a 49 strand 014 diameter. And that's actually much harder than you would think because it's so many strands of steel running through it that have to be braided together, but still keeping it really thin so that it's, you know, it's that 0.014 diameter. So the Pro Econoflex comes in the steel gray, but it also comes in this really fun gold color, which I think does not look as good on the spool as it does in a design. So I pulled out a really fun pair of, or set of bracelets that I can plop on here. This is the gold Pro Econoflex. So it's not going to give you that bright 24 karat gold look that you're going to get with your Extreme, but it's so much more affordable. And right now it's 20% off as well. So it's a really good deal. If you can't afford to use the 24 karat, this might be a really good option for you. It's still really strong and really flexible. And really wonderful to work with. It's a pretty color. I like it. I feel like the spool doesn't do justice to what a nice color it actually is. So that's an option too that I want you to take a look at. And it comes in fine and medium, both 49 strand. So I'm going to pull out our bead mixes. So a few weeks ago, let me sit down now. A few weeks ago, we did our Purple Rain design kit. And so our Purple Rain bead mixes went on sale at the same time. And according to my notes, there's only 7 of these left available. We get a limited supply of custom mixes for our kits, and we have to do an overrun at this point, so we have extras to sell. So this one sold really quickly. The month before we had Cupid's Kiss. We only have 8 of those left. So those have also moved fairly quickly. But this is kind of the end of the run. So if you don't get these last 8 or 7 packages, they are going to be gone. So take a look. If it was something you had been kind of putting on your wish list and thinking about, you may want to grab those soon. And I'm going to open up my leftovers from the Purple Rain bead mix, and we'll make something today. I don't know what, but we'll make something. So I'm just going to pull my trios back out so I have all my colors available to kind of play around with here. And this, of course, is the bead mix, or the trio that goes with this bead mix. So it's a really good option to work with today. So here's some of the beads I have left from before. One thing I was thinking is how pretty this would be as the center of a bracelet, and then braid the wire down the back side. So I'd like to think about that a little bit. Oh yeah, I did get my crimps out. Like, where did my crimps go? Okay, so let's try that. I think that would be kind of fun. We could even dangle one of these little tassels on the other end if we wanted to kind of give it a little weight on the bottom. Let's do it. Okay, so I'm going to take, if you've ever watched one of my shows before, you know I kind of just design on the fly. And that's what I'm going to do today. So I'm going to take a little bit of wire from each of these spools. Just open that up. And I'm going to double up, and I want to leave enough room that I can actually braid it too. I want 2 strands on each one, and then I want to be able to braid. So I'm going to leave just like a little bit more, just to be sure I have enough. And I think I'm going to use a clasp on one side, but I'm not too sure yet. So better to plan ahead and have more than not enough when you're starting a new design and you're not quite sure what you're going to make. I'm going to measure my black onyx to the same size. This would make a really cute choker too. I don't usually wear chokers. It's not really my thing, but I know they've been super popular in the last few years. Yeah, Jesse James Beads has been so great to work with us for our design kits. And they do a custom package for us each month based on our kit of the month. And this one was for this month. And by the way, if you're doing your Purple Rain design kit and want to enter to win the next kit, make sure you post your designs by March 19th, which I believe is next Tuesday. And that's the deadline for choosing a winner for the next kit. And every design you show is actually an entry to win. So I'm going to grab out, I'm using a sterling silver 3x3 millimeter crimp tube with the intention that I'll put a 4 millimeter crimp cover over the top of it eventually. And I'm just going to take all 3 of these wires and string them through my connector for my bead mix. Let me put that out here so you guys can see it. And I'm going to take all 6 wires, so the 2 ends, and that's what I'm going to string through my crimp tube, which I somehow lost. Oh, there it is. Somehow lost within 2 minutes here. I don't know how that works, but welcome to someone's beading table, right? And I'm going to bring this down to the connector, but I want to leave enough room that this can really wiggle around and feel natural. If you find that your wires are kind of overlapping and you don't like how that looks, you can always pull one out and then string it back in on the other side so that they're getting a straighter connection. Let me get my 2 wires here. There we go. That way they're going to lay just a little bit more nicely, which is always good. Okay, so to crimp a 3x3 millimeter crimp tube, we're going to use our Mighty crimping pliers. And there are 2 holes inside these Mighty crimping pliers. The top hole is a rounder and the bottom hole has a little tooth. And when you have this few wires, it's sometimes kind of nice to just kind of get them all together, bunched up nicely. And then you're going to go ahead and just slowly and gently compress, creating a divot into your crimp tube. You're going to turn it the other direction so that you're putting the 2 ends into the rounder, and you're going to compress again, bringing those 2 sides together. And then we'll go around it a few times, just tightening it down. The 3x3 millimeter crimp tubes and the Mighty crimping pliers are super handy for multiple strand designs, like what I'm working on today. There we go. We've got our start. Let's go ahead and get one of those crimp covers out. Now, I'm not totally in love with these crimp covers because they tend to be just a little tiny bit small, but we haven't been able to find a better size. But this is a crimp cover. It's basically like an open-faced bead that fits over the top of your crimp. It comes in different sizes depending on what size crimp you're using. In this case, we used a 3x3 crimp, so we're going to use a 4 millimeter crimp cover. If we had used a 2x2 crimp, then we might use a 3 millimeter crimp cover. Lily asks, when do you know to use the Mighty crimper and the Magical crimper? The Magical crimper only works with 2x2 millimeter crimp tubes, whereas the Mighty crimper only works with 3x3 millimeter crimp tubes. So quickly, 2x2s are these little guys, 3x3s are these really big ones. And so the Mighties are going to be for your bigger crimps. Okay, so back to our crimp cover. And now I'm going to slide this. So I'm going to look at where's the front of my design. I want the front of the connector to show. I'm going to slide this guy, and I lost him. It's so hard to get this up close enough for you guys to see and also do it properly. So I'm going to slide my crimp cover over the top. And I closed it just slightly, so I'm going to use my fingers to get it over the top so that the bead part is showing out and the part that I'm closing, the seam, is on the back side. Once you have it over, you can go ahead and start working on closing it up. So this is kind of the tricky part with this size of a crimp cover. It depends on how many wires are running through too. I don't have that many wires in my crimp this time, so it's not quite so bad. You can see it closed up pretty nicely in this case. But if you have like more wires than this, it doesn't always close up as nicely as that did. Look how pretty, that looks good. And now we can start doing a little braiding. So let me find a spool to throw my beads in so that I don't lose them. I'm on kind of a high counter here. And if they go rolling, I may not find them ever again. Oh, these little squares are cool. Maybe I'll add a couple of those in to the design. Okay. Let me move these over. And what I was going to do to make it easy to braid is just grab my macrame board, and I can just slide this connector kind of into the top of that board there, and that'll give me the ability to kind of hold on to it a little bit more easily. And then I can kind of decide what's next here. So I'm going to split up the wires. I don't think I'm going to do, I'm going to do like 2 different colors in each section. So we'll do kind of what naturally separates, like what falls next to each other inside that crimp tube. So I'm going to do a black and a purple, and maybe a gold and a purple, and then we'll do a black and a gold in the center. And we're just going to do, just like braiding hair, I'm just going to do a left over the middle, and then a right over the middle, and a left over the middle, and a right over the middle. Now if I wanted to add beads, I could definitely do that in the middle of the braid by stringing a bead into the center, as long as it'll fit on these 2 wires. Let's see if this will fit. I think it might be just a little too tight on that one. Let me find a different one that might work, just so you can see what it looks like. So if you wanted to add a bead in the middle, you would, oh, where did I go? There they are. When you come to the middle here, you add your bead, and then you keep braiding. So now it's left over right, and right over left. Make space, and you're going to have to kind of tug it up. That just doesn't want to, there we go. Let's do it like that. Tighten it down and keep moving, and you can always kind of pop this back over after you get a little further down. So it just doesn't want to go to the side. Go. Or you can just do it on the side next time if you want to. Let's anchor this, and we'll do one on the other side. If it's not gonna do what you want it to do, go with the flow. That's what I say. Don't fight it. Go with it. Okay, so left over right. There we go. So I was thinking about this for a bracelet and was thinking about using an actual clasp. So that would be my centerpiece there. And then I would go ahead and anchor to a clasp on the other side. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the second side. So maybe braid a couple more pieces here, and then I will grab a clasp after the live show, and I will anchor to the clasp just the way we did here at the connector. I'm going to use a big 3x3mm crimp tube down here. Let me get a bead stopper for right now. Unless I can find, maybe I have a, oh, I do have a clasp in here. Why don't we just grab that out and so before you crimp, you always want to check on your size, especially on something like this where you're really wanting it to be kind of a tight fit. I probably went just a little too far, so I'm going to take it out just a little bit. And I'm going to take all those wires again and string them through my big crimp tube. And I would suggest grabbing a bead stopper to keep that braid nicely braided down here at the bottom. It's okay if it's a little bit loose, but it would be nice if I had kept it just a little tighter. Okay, so this is where we're at. I'm going to just take one wire, maybe like a purple, and string it through my clasp and then back in again. It'll just make it a little easier if it's not all of them. So I've got something that looks like that now. And then I'm going to go ahead and crimp. And I'm going to go back in and rebraid this a little bit more tightly at the end before I crimp. And then I'll take a picture for the VIB so that you can see it a little bit better. In the meantime, let's do a quick earring, and then I'm going to jump off of here and leave you guys to do some shopping for this great trio that's on sale, 10% off, and the last of these purple bead mixes. So I want to do just a quick, easy earring, and that'll match my fun bracelet here. I'm thinking something like that could be really fun. I want to save my golds for the other thing that might be kind of fun is maybe adding some of these more sparkly purples on the top and bottom. Could be really cool. I think those are big enough that we can fold over really easily. So I'm going to take a generous piece of my 24 karat wire and trim it. Thanks. I love those colors too. Purple Rain was a pretty beautiful kit to work with. All right, so I've got, now I'm going to use a 2x2mm crimp tube. But first, I'm going to go through my cute little flower, guide that's in all of these bead mixes and center it. This is a great beginner project. I'm going to string both wires through my beads. So we've got just an easy, quick little earring. I know the purple was really, really popular. And I know that Flower Power has been like a color explosion for everybody who ordered Flower Power. So I can't wait to see what you guys make with it. It's going to be so exciting to see your finished products. Okay, so I've got a 2 by 2 millimeter crimp tube this time running on this 019, a gold that comes in the Purple Rain Trio. And I'm just going to take my one wire and go back into the crimp tube. You could attach it to your ear wire right away. I just don't have one right here. So I'm just going to make the attachment and then I'll open up my ear wire and attach it at the top. So I'm trying to pull it down so I get just a small loop there and a nice loop at the bottom. It's a nice way to show a little bit of that 24 karat wire and make it part of the design. And then I'm going to just use my magical crimpers this time because I'm using a 2 by 2 millimeter crimp tube. And I'm just going to slide that tube inside of my magical crimpers in the center and compress. If I've done it correctly the first time, I'll get what looks like a little 4-corner square. And then I'm going to come in the other way. So we did try to make a little bit more for our next kit that's coming out in 2 weeks. And it's called the April Showers Design Kit. And we're hopeful that more and more people can continue to join us with our design kits as time goes on. But I know like April or Flower Power sold out so quickly. We will have some Flower Power bead mixes that'll go on sale that were left over. So you can look for that if you were really excited about it and missed the kit. Those kits go on sale and the bead mixes go on sale in 2 weeks. And what I just did was I pulled my wire so it's on the right side of the loop, and that way my cutters are able to get in just a little bit closer to that crimp tube. And I can finish off my little connection. So now I just need to rifle through my bag and find an ear wire that I can connect to it. And I'm not sure if I have one in here or not, or if I need to do that after the live show as well. Starting to run low in my, I don't think I have a gold one in here. So I will do that after the live show, and I'll also post a picture of those earrings in the VIB group. I have one last thing to show you before I jump off of here. Last week we had our square Kumihimo plates as a giveaway, a BOGO. And so I started to play around with it last week using both the Softflex beading wire and our Softflex craft wire. So the difference is that a beading wire is very flexible and it's actually initially for stringing, whereas a craft wire is a copper-based wire and it will maintain a shape. So if I can find the end here, so if I bend it, it's actually going to stay in that shape. So I decided to try this really fine gauge, 26 gauge craft wire, and then I used our Softflex beading wire in purple, which is also in that Purple Rain kit, and I wove it using this square Kumihimo plate. So I was telling you guys in the VIB that I was really excited to see what would happen if I used a thicker gauge of wire. And so this is what it looks like with the 24 gauge, and then I'm using our 24 karat beading wire. This one isn't working out quite as nicely. Part of it is I'm just learning tension, and I've never used this before. It's actually a brand new tool to me as well. But I'm thinking I need to try right between. I've tried like Baby Bear, which is the 26 gauge, and I've tried Papa Bear, which is the 24 gauge, or this might even be 22 gauge. Now I want to try 24 gauge and see what that would be like. And then I'd like to add more wires. So there's actually more craft wire widening it. So this is just a project that I'm still like working on and thinking about. I might make it into a YouTube video eventually, but I wanted you guys to see what this looks like and how fun this little Kumihimo plate is to experiment with. You can also find a really great YouTube video from James that I think was posted last Thursday on our YouTube channel. And then I believe Kristen used it as well on her Monday live on YouTube. So there's a couple of really cool videos to learn how to use this square plate. And we do have these for sale on our website as well. So that's kind of it for me today. I'm gonna flip you guys down so you can see the mess that's left over. I had to pull my hair back. I get crazy when I'm beading. So last but not least, coming up on Monday, March 18th, we've got a free spirit beading with Kristen Fagan. She will be doing a really neat, if this moves forward, a really neat macrame. Is it macrame? It's like it's a wrap bracelet with our Econoflex in the 0.010. And that'll be really fun and different. And then you'll see me here next Wednesday for a Softflex live sale, 1 p.m. March 20th. And then March 21st, you'll see a brand new Conversations with Wire with James Browning. And we have a brand new tool that we're launching next week called the Lazy Daisy Viking Knit Tool. And some of you may already have it. It's not brand new to the industry, but we're learning how to use it with our Softflex craft wire, and we'll have some really great tutorials, including the one next week on how to use Softflex craft wire on this Lazy Daisy tool. So I'm excited for that. Also check out our blog. We have instructions for Nile's second Beads, Baubles, and Jewels design on our blog as of Monday, and also the segment from Beads, Baubles, and Jewels. We have a great blog that explains the difference between Econoflex and Pro Econoflex and why you would choose one or the other, with some great examples and free project ideas. We have a brand new segment going in on Thursdays, which are from our archives. It's Margie Deeb, who is a color expert, and she has these fantastic articles she wrote for us years ago that are still applicable today on how to use color in your jewelry designs. So there's a brand new one of those that went up this week on our website on the blog. And then tomorrow, of course, every Friday, we recap all of our videos from the week. So it's a nice way to kind of see everything we've been doing over the course of the week, and all in one place. So thanks for joining us, guys. It's been so nice to see you guys. I'm going to take a quick picture, finish up, take a quick picture, and then I'll post it for you guys. These little leaves are from Jesse James Beads. This whole earring is, I mean, I feel like everything I wear is from Jesse James Beads because they're pretty fantastic, right? And it works so well with all of our colors of beading wire and things that we sell too. So thanks for spending a little bit of time with me today. Check out that Pro Econoflex sale, as well as the 2 trios that are on sale. I think you guys are going to love them, and I will talk to you later. Bye, guys.